Well guys, a very long day of packing. Well, actually a very long 2 days of packing.
It is, what time?
I don't know.
10:41.
We're finally almost done. Everything that's left in the house is in the living room.
Yep. All this stuff like this.
And we have to be out of the house by tomorrow morning. So today at night, whether we want to or not, all of this needs to be done and shipped out.
Hey guys, Jay here with Word of Advice TV, and we are finally in Hawaii. And before we start, did you see my shirt? My wife got me this, with love. So next time I get cut off on the road and I feel the rage building inside of me, I can look down. It's gonna be a reminder. I'll take a deep breath and say, not today, Satan, not today. Oh, oh. So babe, what are your first impressions of Hawaii besides palm trees and geckos?
I'm loving it.
You're loving it?
Yeah.
So, tell me more. Okay, I'll stop interrupting. Go. What were you gonna say?
Well, I love the weather here. Geckos, birds.
By the way, the geckos, they chirp and they basically pretend like they're birds. There's geckos singing along with birds. You know, they're both chirping. You don't know which is which. Kind of cool. How about the time zones?
So it's 5-hour difference. That's between Minnesota and Hawaii.
So we're sleeping in the middle of the day. Our son is sleeping. Who knows?
He's pretty
when.
tired all the time.
He's just tired all the
Yeah.
time. We want to take a nap during the middle of the day. So we're still adjusting. People are giving us phone calls at 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning because they don't realize that the time is that different between Hawaii and Minnesota. So that's interesting too. But babe, I think we should probably back up all the way to where we left off on our second video, and that was when we were packing and getting ready to move. So about packing, it was a lot more difficult than we thought it would be. We thought we would just get away with 6 luggage bags, but we didn't keep in mind that every single luggage bag weighs about 10 pounds, and the maximum amount you could put in there is 50 pounds. So the hardest part wasn't cramming stuff in there so you can close it. The hardest part was the weight, the 50 pounds. So essentially you only get 40 pounds and your jeans weigh 2 or 3 pounds. It's kind of ridiculous, but things add up real quick. So the luggage was kind of tough. I think my wife did all the packing. I did very little. So how did the packing go, babe? She like wraps it up in a circle so everything's neat and packed
Are you gonna
in there.
insert the picture?
Yeah, I think I'll add a picture. If we took a picture of some of the insides of the luggage bag, we must have repacked them multiple times and then weighed it each time. The way we weighed it is I would stand on the scale. It's a windy day. So yeah, we weren't able to fit nearly as much stuff into the luggage bags as we thought, so we did end up sending some boxes as well. We were walking through Walmart and I saw those large boxes that were 18 by 22 by 22, and I thought, perfect. I bought like 10 of them, and we actually packed them all. We had those boxes with miscellaneous stuff in them. We had media mail boxes, which are way cheaper, but you can only put books in them. For those of you that don't know that, you can ship books a lot cheaper than regular mail if your package or box consists of just books. And I also learned the hard way that you cannot use liquor boxes. So the liquor store, they usually have a lot of leftover boxes that you can just go and take for moving or whatnot. So we used about 6 of them. When we took them to the mail, the USPS, they said, no way, man, we're not taking that. If it has any liquor signs on it, we can't take that box. So we had to change that out. That was kind of annoying. And we also used flat rate boxes. So we used the 12 by 12 by 5 inch boxes, and up to, was it 50 or 70 pounds? 50.
It was 70.
No, I think 70 pounds was the big boxes. And 50 pounds was the flat rate. But it's okay. I mean, with the flat rate boxes, there's no way you're going to get it over 50 pounds. It's not a very big box. So in those boxes, we shipped like 6 of them. We put my tools, my hand tools in there. We put our silverware that we wanted to take with us. Just the heavier items we put in those boxes because weight doesn't affect the price. Each of those boxes was about 20 bucks a box for shipping. So yes, the big box, I actually took it to the mail. I asked them, hey guys, if I fill this up, what's the maximum I could fill it up to? Weight-wise, I mean. And how much would it cost? And they said it would be around 150 bucks. And those big boxes, all of them were about 68 pounds. We filled it, and it cost us $138 on average for all of those big boxes. And we taped them up real good because they kind of throw them around when they get shipped.
So yeah, our house was a mess. Like every room, our living room was a mess.
That's because we took everything out of all the rooms towards the end. We had stuff in the closets and stuff for showings, you know, so everything was neat. And at the end, we literally took everything out of the house and put it into the living room. So it was a disaster zone.
Yeah.
Her mom came, her sister came, helped us out, pack stuff. My sister came. So
It was nice to have help.
yeah, but it was like a solid 2 days of hectic packing and repacking
No,
and
that
taping.
that was more than 2 days.
More than 2 days? It was just more than 2 days for me. My wife packed for a long time.
Most of our luggages were filled with clothing items. That's pretty much it.
That's pretty
And-
much it. Maybe some shoes, but just lighter stuff because, like I said previously, that weight adds up real quick. Except one luggage bag. I actually managed to keep my tower computer, yay, so I don't have to work off of a laptop all the time in Hawaii here. So I kept the tower computer, I sold everything else in my office except that. I sacrificed one luggage bag just for the tower computer. I put 2 foam pads on either side, and I got it nice and packed up in there. I hope it survives by the time we get to Big Island. Right now we're in Oahu, my brother's house, and he has 3 boys that are small, so our son is having a great time. But yeah, we still have to go to Big Island after we set our 2-week quarantine here. So I was pretty happy that we were able to take my tower computer with us, and there was a little bit of sad news as well. I wanted to take my gun with me as well, but in Hawaii, the gun laws are a little different. Handguns, they can only have a maximum of 10 rounds in the magazine or the clip. Mine had 15. So that would be a felony if I brought it in here. So unfortunately, I had to leave it in Minnesota, but luckily it was my cousin's birthday, who I'm really good friends with. He's my best buddy. It's his birthday. He was turning 30 years old, so I gave him a heavy discount on the gun and just sold it to him. So at least it's in good hands. And because of the coronavirus, we actually didn't see the new owners of our house, the people that bought the house. We didn't even see them once. Even when we went to sign the papers, the final signings, they weren't there. They just had us come one at a time. So me and my wife came, signed all the papers, and we left, and we never actually seen them. We only know their name, but that's it. We never saw the people who we sold the house to. So that was kind of interesting. So on to the plane ride. We finally packed up. We got out of the house. It was bittersweet leaving our house.
Your feelings?
Well, it's bittersweet. It's kind of sad to leave our house. This was our first house. It was a really cute, awesome house. My wife started crying, made me almost want to cry. But I believe it'll be even better in Hawaii. But yeah, we're gonna miss Minnesota. We're gonna miss this house. It was a good run here. It was a good run.
So on to the plane ride. We had 2 stops on our plane ride. So we went from Minnesota to Portland, from Portland to Los Angeles, and from Los Angeles to Honolulu, where our brother picked us up. Was there any highlights about the plane rides that you remember?
No.
No? It was very event-free?
It was actually not bad. Just the last flight was longer.
Last flight was about 5.5 hours. And fortunately and luckily, our son really behaved fairly well. He didn't scream, like barely any screaming. He wasn't too fussy. He behaved pretty good on the plane.
Keep them busy.
Yeah, my wife tried her best to keep her busy. Whenever she got tired of it, she would try to give him to me, and he would start freaking out. So he ended up sitting with Mom most of the time. And because of the coronavirus, the first flight and the second flight, they tried to split up the seats, so 2 people aren't sitting next to each other unless they're a party traveling together. So people would be kind of spaced out. Except the last plane ride. It was so full that, I don't know, they just kind of disregarded the corona and everybody was pretty packed in there.
And on the first flight, your cousin helped us out with the seating arrangements.
He did, yeah, because our seats were kind of thrown all over the place. And he came right in time to say bye to us. By the way, this is the same guy that bought my gun. He has a pretty goofy smile at times. I'll show you. Anyways, this same cousin of mine, he helped us out, and we all sat in the same row after he talked to, the guy that...
Agent.
The agent or whoever he is that sits the people. But yeah, for anybody that's actually interested though, besides all of that, I think we should go back and just talk about the whole airplane experience, like if you're going to move to a different state or overseas, how that goes, especially with the coronavirus. So we come in, everybody has to wear a mask. Masks are everywhere. You come in, we got our baggage, so we take our luggage, we bring it in there. All of it was about 49 or 50 pounds. We were right at the limit. Anything over, in Delta at least, anything over, even if it's a pound over, you get heavy fees. I want to say it's $150 if you're anywhere between the range of 51 to 70 pounds. So even if it's like 51 or 52 pounds, either you take stuff out or you get that heavy fee. So we submitted all our luggage. Then we went and checked in. Actually, no, with Delta, they give you the tickets. They print them off right there at the baggage claim. So we take the tickets, we go board. As you're boarding, there's a few canine dogs that are running around. My wife, I think, filmed one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I'll throw in a dog video in the background here. And then as, all our stuff went through the little conveyor thing where they check it, they had to manually check our carry-ons, our backpacks. That was a little bit irritating. I mean, I know it's just regular procedure, but our stuff was packed in there pretty tight, and they ended up taking a lot of the stuff out and just leaving it on the table and saying, okay, we're done.
And it was organized.
Yeah, it was organized. Like, it was neatly packed.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, they took all the stuff out. Well, they did it carefully. They didn't just, throw everything out. But still, after they were done, they're like, okay, you can take it now. And I'm just standing there looking at them like, okay, just dump everything in there.
We're in a rush. You have to
because we're holding up people behind us, so we just kind of dumped everything in there, took it, and then brought it out into the hall and just tried to pack it as neat as we could in the hallway there. Our first plane ride, I think, was the best one. The plane had the most room in front. Our son could actually walk in front of us. That's how much room the seats had in between them. So that was pretty nice. It had TV screens. The Delta airplane had TV screens in the front. Those were the biggest ones as well. So we had just 3 different planes. The first one was the best, second one was a little worse, and third one was the worst. It was the most packed, and they had the least amount of room. But it was still okay. It wasn't too bad. So after we got off the first plane, our overlay was really short. So by the time we boarded off the plane, as we already got off, our second plane was already boarding. So luckily it wasn't too far away. So we went over there and immediately boarded the second plane and went on our way. And then after the second plane, we did have some time to get a pizza. We ate and just sat there for a little bit and went on the third plane. And during the third plane, in the middle of the ride, they hand out the forms, the coronavirus forms. You have the agriculture form. That's where they make sure that you're not bringing any pets or any weird animals or lizards or whatever into Hawaii, a foreign species that can become invasive, and you're not bringing in any weird plants that can become a pest as well. So you fill all of that out. And then you have these corona forms that you fill out as well. Who you're going to, how long you're going to stay, whose house are you staying at, how do you feel, do you feel nauseous, or do you have any symptoms, etc., etc., etc. And when you get off the third plane at Hawaii already, there's a bunch of tables, so they check your forms, make sure you have all the info in there, and then they verify that your phone numbers are correct. So they called me, they called my wife, and they called my brother to make sure that we're stating the truth and we're going to his house. And the fine for coming out of the house during quarantine, I mean, we're okay in the yard, but if you leave the premise, the fine for that is $5,000 for me and my brother. And they made sure that he's aware of that too. So after we went through all of that procedures, we finally came out, got our luggage, and our brother picked us up. And here we are.
I think that's enough about the plane ride.
Probably, yes.
And so what are our plans for the future after we're done with quarantine?
Yes, I think I said all I remembered about the plane. Hopefully I didn't miss anything interesting. If I did, let us know in the comments. Our future plans. So we're going to stay at my brother's house, which is in Oahu, and our final destination is Big Island. So we're going to stay here during the quarantine for 2 weeks, and then our plan, God willing, if everything goes as planned, after our quarantine, a couple days afterwards, we're going to fly out to Big Island and rent a house there, and probably stay there for a couple months while we're looking around and looking for a property. We hope to buy a house with some land on it. That would be optimal. And yes, we'll renew our licenses to Big Island, and we're going to find a car while we're at it as well.
But what if they do inter-island quarantine?
That, yes, I actually kind of forgot about that, but that's also a possibility. So if they enact the inter-island quarantine, which means even if we fly to Big Island, we're still going to have to quarantine all over again for 2 weeks. In that case, we might stay in Oahu a little longer, depending on what they reinstate or instate or whatever laws they push through. So Anyway, thank you so much for watching and following our journey. If you have any questions or comments, please let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to mash that like button on the way out, and we will see you next time.
Babe, I think you should change to this side.
Yeah, that's right. Now that we're in Hawaii, perhaps, we'll see you next time. Meet Alan. There are many Allens in Hawaii. Alan, why don't you say hello? Come on, Alan. 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 Oh, wait. That's right. It's actually Steve. Steve. Say hello, Steve. 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 Come on, Steve. Oh, man, where are you going?